My name is Victoria. I'm 29 years old, and until recently, I worked as a simple secretary at Torres Corporation, one of the most important construction companies in the country, or at least, that's what everyone believed. The truth is, I'm the majority shareholder and owner of the company, but I chose to start from the bottom to understand every aspect of the business my father built. No one, except the board of directors and my personal assistant, knew my true identity. Things got complicated when I fell in love with Daniel, the son of Patricia Torres, the company's current CEO. We met at the building's café while I was waiting in line for coffee like any other employee. "The coffee here is terrible," he said with a smile. "I know a better place 2 blocks away." That's how it all started. Daniel was different from his family, kind, humble, and unpretentious. He worked as an independent architect, refusing his mother's pressure to join the family business. 6 months later, we got married in a small ceremony. Patricia, my mother-in-law, didn't even show up. "My son deserves better than a secretary," were her exact words. Daniel stood up to her, defending me, but I asked him not to ruin his relationship with his family for my sake. After all, I had my own plans. "Are you sure you want to keep working as a secretary?" Daniel asked me one night. "You could do so much more." "I like my job," I replied, hiding a smile. "It lets me learn about the company from the inside." Things got worse when Patricia found out I was pregnant. She showed up at our home one afternoon while Daniel was away on a business trip. "Do you think I don't know what you're doing?" she accused, her eyes blazing with fury. "Getting pregnant to trap my son? Patricia, this baby was planned. Daniel is blinded by your innocent act. But I know the truth. I looked into your past. You didn't even finish college." I bit my tongue. My fake academic records had worked perfectly. "You know what? I won't let you ruin my son's future," she declared, pulling some papers from her purse. "I just bought this apartment. It belongs to the company now." My heart raced. I knew exactly which property it was. I had authorized the purchase last week as part of my plan. "You have 24 hours to pack your things and leave," Patricia continued, "or I'll have security escort you out. And don't bother calling Daniel. I made sure his phone has no signal during his trip. You're evicting me while my husband is out of reach and I'm pregnant. I'm doing you a favor," she said with a malicious smile. "A mere secretary will never be good enough for the Torres family. You should be grateful I'm giving you time to pack." She turned to leave, but stopped to deliver one final blow. "Oh, and by the way, as of Monday, you no longer work at Torres Corporation. As CEO, I've decided your presence is no longer necessary." She slammed the door behind her, oblivious to the small smile forming on my lips. I picked up my phone and dialed a number. "Maria," I said to my personal assistant, "it's time to implement Plan T." "Yes, tomorrow at the board meeting. And please make sure Mrs. Torres receives the official notice after she signs the new contracts." The next morning, as Patricia Torres confidently walked into the boardroom, I was already in my private office on the top floor. Through the security cameras, I watched as my mother-in-law distributed some documents to the board members. "As you can see," Patricia announced with a satisfied smile, "I've prepared a complete restructuring of the company. First, we need to get rid of unnecessary employees." Right then, Maria walked in with more documents. "Mrs. Torres, before you continue, I need your signature on these contracts for the new acquisition. Now, we're in the middle of something important. It's urgent. The investors are waiting for your signature to proceed." Patricia signed without reading, too busy boasting about her improvements for the company. She didn't notice Maria's discreet smile as she left the room. "As I was saying," Patricia continued, "Torres Corporation needs a more exclusive image. We can't have employees who—" The door opened again. This time, Mr. Ramirez, the company's chief attorney, stepped in. "Sorry to interrupt," he said, his deep voice filling the room, "but I have an important announcement from the true owner of Torres Corporation." Patricia straightened in her chair. "What are you talking about?" "I'm the CEO and majority shareholder." "I'm afraid you're mistaken," Mr. Ramirez replied, projecting some documents onto the screen. "These are the real ownership records of the company. The majority shareholder is Victoria Torres." "Victoria? My daughter-in-law?" "Impossible. She's just a secretary." "Actually," I said, stepping into the room, I'm the daughter of Antonio Torres, the original founder of the company, and your late brother." Patricia's face turned pale. "No, Antonio didn't have children. You're wrong. My father kept me a secret to protect me after you tried to take over the company 20 years ago. Remember that failed hostile takeover?" The board members murmured among themselves, piecing the puzzle together. "My father was the one who gave you the CEO position," I continued, "on the condition that you never try to take full control of the company. But that's exactly what you've been planning, isn't it?" "You're lying. This is a trick." "The documents you just signed," I said with a smile, "were your voluntary resignation as CEO and the transfer of your shares to the family trust." "Maria, could you play yesterday's video, please?" On the screen, footage appeared of Patricia at my apartment, threatening me with eviction and flaunting her power as CEO. Abuse of power, workplace discrimination, and illegal eviction attempt against a pregnant employee, Mr. Ramirez listed. "The board has more than enough grounds to approve your immediate removal." "And Daniel?" Patricia asked, her voice shaking. "Does he know that his mother tried to evict his pregnant wife?" "Yes, he just found out. In fact," the door opened once more. Daniel walked in, his face a mask of disappointment and barely contained fury. "How could you, Mom?" Patricia slumped in her chair, all her arrogance gone. "Daniel, son, I can explain." "Explain what, Mom?" "How you tried to destroy my marriage. How you threatened my pregnant wife. Or how you've been lying about the company for 20 years. Everything I did was for you." Patricia cried. "This company should be yours." "The company is already part of the family," I said softly. "Just not in the way you expected." The board members watched in silence as I pulled out another folder. "These are the records of all the questionable decisions you've made over the past 5 years," I continued. "Inflated contracts with specific vendors, excessive bonuses, attempts to dilute minority shareholders' stakes." "I was protecting the company," Patricia defended herself weakly. "No," Daniel corrected her. "You were building your own empire at the expense of others. I even refused to work here because I knew something wasn't right under your leadership. That's why I started as a secretary," I explained. "I needed to see for myself what was happening at every level of the company. What I found was a culture of fear and discrimination that you created." Maria walked in again, carrying more documents. "These are the resignation letters from several executives who worked directly under Mrs. Torres. They all cite abusive behavior and questionable practices." Patricia looked around, searching for allies, but all she found were serious, disappointed faces. "The board will now vote on your removal," Mr. Ramirez announced. "Though with your signed resignation, it's mostly a formality. What's going to happen to me?" Patricia's voice was small, scared. "Unlike you," I replied, "I don't believe in destroying people. You'll keep a generous pension, but you won't have any role in running the company." "And our apartment?" Daniel asked. "It's part of the company's assets," I confirmed. "But unlike your mother, I'm not evicting anyone. You can stay there as long as you need." The next few months brought significant changes. Under my leadership, Torres Corporation implemented new policies focused on inclusion and professional development. The toxic environment Patricia had created was replaced by a culture of respect and opportunity. Daniel, finally free from his mother's pressure, chose to join the company on his own terms. He founded a sustainable design department that revolutionized our construction projects. As for Patricia, it took her a while to accept the new reality. She made several attempts to regain her position, even threatening to expose family secrets to the press. But each threat only reinforced that the board had made the right decision in removing her. The real surprise came 6 months later when our daughter Lucia was born. Patricia showed up at the hospital, not as the arrogant CEO she once was, but as a grandmother seeking a second chance. "I'm sorry," she said simply, gazing at our baby. "Power blinded me. It made me forget what really matters." "Second chances have to be earned," Daniel responded, though his tone was softer than before. Today, 3 years later, Torres Corporation is stronger than ever. Our sustainable construction projects have gained international recognition, and our internal promotion policy has created opportunities for people Patricia would have once deemed unworthy. Patricia comes over for dinner every Sunday. She no longer talks about corporate power or social status. Instead, she spends hours playing with Lucia, perhaps trying to make up for past mistakes. Daniel jokes that running a company is easier than managing family dynamics, but I'm not so sure. Both require patience, understanding, and the willingness to give second chances when they're deserved. The most important lesson I learned from all of this wasn't about business or power. It was about the importance of seeing people for who they truly are, not the titles they hold or the positions they occupy. As my father used to say, a company can build skyscrapers, but it's the people who build the true legacy. And as for being a simple secretary, well, let's just say we now have a professional development program that ensures no employee is ever considered just anything or deemed unworthy of respect. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.